thought there was no way out. Yeah, I used to be scared of the light, and I was swallowed by doubt. I'd forgotten what freedom was like. Puzzle pieces on the floor, they don't fit in anymore. I'm changing, I'm changing. When they ask you who I am, what I've done and where I've been, there's one thing I want you to say. Tell 'em I'm brave, see it on my face. I am bigger than anything coming my way. It's a new day, now I'm not afraid. So if anyone asks you how I overcame, you can tell 'em I'm brave. Some days I come out on top, and some days I can't catch a break. But when the fire don't stop, I won't wish my troubles away. I've been down and I've been out, but if you look at me now, I'm moving into better, brighter days. Yeah, this hope is here to stay. There's only one thing you can say. Tell 'em I'm brave, see it on my face. I am bigger than anything coming my way. It's a new day, now I'm not afraid. So if anyone asks you how I overcame, you can tell 'em I'm brave. We're gonna fight, gonna be alright. We're gonna fight together every step of the way. Tell 'em we're brave, see it on our face. We are bigger than anything coming our way. It's a new day, we're not afraid. So if anyone asks you how we overcame, you can tell 'em we're brave. You can tell 'em we're brave. You can tell 'em we're brave.
Welcome to This Is My Brave, the show. My name is La Becky Roe, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight to witness This Is My Brave, the show, CharMeck 2024, and to shine a light on mental health and substance abuse to end stigma. Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping rules. We want to ask you, I see some of you have your phones out. We want to ask you to take out your phones, take a picture of the people around you, and then we're going to give you some hashtags that we want you to use. Some of them are on the backdrop, but I want you to hashtag storytelling saves lives, hashtag live brave. We need your help to tell the world we are here and that they can learn what it means to live brave too. So share away. Don't be shy. Our volunteers will retweet them and regram them. Okay, thank you for your help. Now, I will introduce you to our producer, Ebony Rowe.
Thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Ebony Roe. I am the producer for the This Is My Brave, the show, CharMeck 2024. We are closing out this amazing series of This Is My Brave shows here in Charlotte for the 2024 year. And this is our third show. I am so excited to be able to share with you this wonderful experience. So I am not only the show director, I am also the Senior Health Program Manager for the ReCAST program. ReCAST stands for Resiliency in Communities After Stress and Trauma. We are embedded within public health and work to address issues of trauma across our community, uplift and highlight mental health and its challenges, as well as resilience. And we partner with the Office of Violence Prevention to curb community violence. We are so excited to bring This Is My Brave to our community in hopes that the art of storytelling opens the minds and hearts of our community members to end the stigma of talking about mental health. So thank you again to all who are here in attendance, including our elected county and city officials. Mental health professionals are here and available for those who may feel triggered by the things that they are hearing today and may need additional support. You can speak with them. They are in the back, and you can find them with a blue lanyard. First and foremost, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors who helped to make this 2024 season possible. Our national sponsors who have been phenomenal in supporting This Is My Brave on a national stage include Johnson & Johnson, Bristol Myers Squibb, Sage Therapeutics, Trigger Hub, and Society of Valued Minds. Thank you also to all of our local sponsors who made today and yesterday possible. They include ReCAST Mecklenburg County, Mecklenburg County Public Health, the Office of Violence Prevention, Alliance Health, Travis Ford, Mobile Crisis, the Sante Group, Self-Taught Counseling and Consulting, Anuvia Prevention and Recovery, Teen Health Connection, Monarch, the Compassionate Companion, and Jenkins Creative Counseling Center. Additionally, we thank all of our amazing community partners who assisted with in-kind donations, including space and time for auditions, for rehearsals, for food, and all things that we needed to make sure that our amazing cast was taken care of. And lastly, I want to give a special thanks to our phenomenal production team that worked so hard for so many months to create This Is My Brave here in Charlotte. For those members of our production team, I ask that you stand now and be recognized. Additionally, we thank our videographers and our photographers who are here to help us document this fantastic event. We'd also like to give one huge shout out to This Is My Brave National. Erin Gallagher was hoping that she could join us for our events this weekend, but with the hurricane and all things else that happened, she was unable to make it. But we're so grateful for the hard work that they have put into helping us to have this amazing show this weekend and the support that they've offered us. We also have with us here one of our national sponsors, Society of Valued Minds, and I'd like to welcome Kelsey Baum to the stage. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I'm Kelsey from the Society of Valued Minds, and we're really excited to be collaborating with This Is My Brave again tonight because we share a lot of similar values. Mostly, we like to explore the importance of using self-expression to decrease the stigma around mental health. We're a community on Instagram and TikTok, and we like to post a lot of different mental health tips, ways that you can be an advocate in your own community, and also just our followers showing their own form of self-expression, whether it's singing, dancing, writing, anything big or small. We love to show it on our platform. So if you'd like to join and follow us, we are at Society of Valued Minds on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, thank you again for having us, and thank you all for sharing your stories. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and we really appreciate it. So thank you.
What you are about to experience defines what it means to live brave. Since this is My Brave is a storytelling organization, I thought it would make sense to tell you the story of how I learned about This Is My Brave and why I decided to be involved. I chose to be a show director because I know what it feels like to be lost. I want to ask you all, have you ever traveled on an unfamiliar road and you lose the signal on your GPS and in your car and the signal on your phone? Show of hands. You stop, you ask for directions, and you're given the wrong directions. Well, that was me in 1998 when my son was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. As the mother of an adult son on the autism spectrum, I had to find my own way after receiving his diagnosis. The directions I was given were unclear, often discouraging, and at times led me further astray. But as I stand here today, I thank God that I didn't follow the advice I received back then. My son is not the man they said he would be at the tender age of 3. My son is my hero, my success story, and the very reason I found the courage to start Let's Talk About It, the Autism Center. He has taught me resilience, strength, and the power of determination. Through his journey, I learned that the diagnosis of autism is not a death sentence. It's a different path that leads to incredible possibilities. Now I dedicate my life to being a beacon of light for others who are coming after me. I want to show that even when the road seems unclear, there's always hope and a way forward. Together, we can overcome any obstacle because the power to rise above is within each of us. Over the past 6 weeks, I've had the privilege of working with 8 phenomenal women, each of whom entered this journey not knowing what to expect. Together, we faced the challenges, discovered our strengths, and bonded deeply as we shared our stories. These women exemplify what it means to be brave, choosing to confront their uncertainties with open hearts and unwavering determination. We are about to take you on a journey. You will laugh and you will cry. You will be enlightened, inspired, and our hope is that you will leave with a transformed perception of the invisibleness of mental illness, substance use, and the impact of trauma, thanks to the bravery of our cast members. Because this is the reality, 1 in 5 Americans live with diagnosable mental health disorders. But because we don't talk enough about mental illness, often people suffer in silence. This changes today. Right here on this stage, we're shining a light on mental illness to show the world that we are your friends, colleagues, neighbors, community leaders. We hope that through our storytelling, you will better understand mental illness and will be able to be supportive to those in your life who may experience it. You may be inspired to share your own story. It's when we share stories that we open the conversation, and storytelling saves lives. So let's get started. Next up is the dynamic Gwendolyn Devins.
Comprehension is a constant battle, a shadow that has followed me in silence for countless years, a weight that bends my spirit, and a breath of fog that clouds my judgment. There are days when the light feels too far, when getting out of bed becomes a marathon, and joy slips right through my fingers like sand. This is my power in breaking my silence and allowing my pain to breathe. So I stand here before you in my darkness, elevated levels of tension, frequent moods and disposition, navigating through an awkward and unsettling mental prison, thoughts swirling around and around endlessly, struggling to make sense of a simple sound. Ideas and words fly past me in a complete blur. Nothing sticks, nothing stays, just confusion and insecure. I strain to untangle this knot in my brain, to pierce through the clarity I am trying to gain. But the more that I try, the more I defeat. The maze in my head has me in an endless retreat, trapped within the walls of what I can comprehend, a prisoner to limits I can't transcend. Grasping at meaning just slips through my fingers as everything else just floats and lingers. So the bars of this cell were built from within, a captive to forces I just can't win. Comprehension, set me free. Otherwise, I will forever be lost in this prison of me. So here's the surface. Stillness nights with dark whispers, hidden from the world's eye and tucked away with no glimmer. Overtaken by thorns and tangled vines, weighed down by the heavy cloak of depression. No gleams, no shine. Silent invasion that crept in slowly with undeniable presence. Weight pressed heavily onto my chest with the foggy essence. Mind and invisible chains that disrupted my soul. Yep, this is exactly how I rolled. So my secret garden, hope and happiness withered away, replaced by an unfruitful landscape of despair and isolation, yet oh so gray. Hidden from view, hold secrets that the outside world just cannot see. On the surface, I appear fine, carrying out daily tasks with an impression of normalcy. But beneath, a storm rages, attempting to uproot the very foundation of self-worth in phases. The soil can become a battleground where negative thoughts and emotions clash, left with scars and an overwhelming sense of hopelessness and ash. So this isolated garden lies potential for renewal and growth. With soulful hands alongside me to till the soil, it will become a solid rebuild for us both. So my secret garden spoke to me. Recognize the signs of neglect and decay. Acknowledge the darkness and open the shutters to pulsating rays. Capture the relevance of my secret garden. Beneath lies a world that sometimes is unseen and hardens. A world that sometimes struggles. A world that may often battle and even buckle. Now reaching for a transformed landscape enriched with beauty and hope. This secret garden of depression holds the seeds of potential I need to stroke. I feel the breeze. I feel the breeze. With care and perseverance, I'll be in a place of renewal and ease, making my way for new blossoms of resilience and strength. With time, I'll skip happily through the silky fields with no need for a shielded fence. My flowers are blooming. My flowers are blooming. Let me roar. One day soon, I will flap my wings and soar. I am Gwendolyn Devins, and this here is My Brave. And now I welcome to the stage my most awesome partner, Bonne Anderson.
It's August 17th, 2019. I'm 39 years old, 30 weeks pregnant, and marrying the love of my life. It's the cutest little backyard blended family wedding you've ever seen. And I'm walking down the aisle to that song, 1,000 Years. You know the one from the Twilight Saga soundtrack. You can keep your judgment to yourself. I should have been choking back tears of joy, amazed at the turn my life had taken over the last year. But instead, it was happiness, joy, and elation that felt 1,000 years away. Pregnancy is supposed to be a magical time. At least that's what I had been told. The movies, the TV shows, the commercials, the commercials. Full of blissful women painting nurseries and smelling tiny, freshly washed onesies. It was like they mocked me, highlighting the depth of the darkness I was experiencing. You see, the thought of painting a nursery made me feel overwhelmed. Those tiny onesies made me anxious and afraid. 1,000 negative thoughts were my near constant companion. And what did these thoughts say about me as a mother? I certainly couldn't ask anyone, so I suffered in silence. Mental health disorders are the #1 complication of pregnancy and childbirth. And if that surprises you, you're not alone. It certainly surprised me the first time I heard it. We've raised a lot of awareness around postpartum depression recently, but it's not just depression. And as my story will illustrate, it's not just postpartum. Almost as soon as the sperm meets the egg, I can feel the darkness begin to descend. But this was my third baby, and I thought it would be different this time. I mean, my new husband was a psychotherapist, for goodness sakes. Certainly, it wouldn't happen again. But not only did it happen again, but it was worse. It was like being trapped behind glass. It was like losing access to all positive emotions. I felt isolated and afraid within my own family. But here's the real irony. I had been a mental health advocate for years. I had been living my recovery out loud for almost 2 decades. I had a therapist, a psychiatrist, I had good insurance, I had financial resources, I had a strong support system. And even I hesitated to share my darkest thoughts with anyone. They'll take your children away. They'll deem you an unfit mother, the thought screamed. So I told no one until they got so dark and so scary that I had no choice but to speak up. Thankfully, my amazing husband reminded me that anxiety and depression lie. He helped me call my psychiatrist and my therapist. He helped me reach out to my support system. And they helped me challenge the thoughts and the beliefs around what pregnancy should be like. They reminded me that the TV shows and the movies and the commercials aren't real. And it's okay if my experience of pregnancy wasn't blissful. They helped me find joy in the midst of the darkness. And they helped me keep putting one foot in front of the other. It wasn't easy, but it was doable because I had my support system back. And then, after my son was born and the placenta was delivered, almost like magic, the darkness began to lift. But it's not like that for everyone. For some, the darkness doesn't descend until after the baby's born. For some, it's not darkness, but anxiety and rage. For others, it's intrusive thoughts that are scary and disturbing. And in the most rare cases, delusions and hallucinations. 1 in 5 birthing persons will experience a mental health challenge during pregnancy or the postpartum period. And we need to be talking about it more. We need to be sharing our stories. Because if I, with all of my knowledge and resources, hesitated to ask for help, how many others are suffering in silence? My name is Bonne Anderson, and this is My Brave. And next up, I have the honor of welcoming to the stage Alonza Pamplin.
My name is Alonza Pamplin. I'm 34 years old, was born in the spring, a Durham native, soon to be 3-time HBCU graduate, mom, daughter, partner, health professional, and close friend to some. I love to travel and try new restaurants. My favorite flowers are roses, and I indulge in a good sale every now and then. I also suffer. I battle with clinical depression, anxiety, and PMDD. I take medication every day, just like I have to put my glasses on to see. By taking it, I can manage the frustration, irritation, and overbearing weight of overthinking. I won't lie, it's not an overnight fix. I have my days, sometimes several in a row. Sometimes I talk about them, but many times I don't. I catch myself drowning in exhaustion, but I'm still here. I get up and I'm thankful for all of my reasons to do so. This all started 6 years ago after the birth of my daughter. Unbeknownst to me, my serotonin levels would take a hit. As a new mom, I sometimes work 7 days straight for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. I chalked up my irritation and emotions to working and life just having its way. I never had anxiety related to my baby. I was blessed to have a mom and aunties who I knew loved her and cared for her safety just as much as I did. The anxiety I experienced after birth was constantly thinking about my own mortality, having a will, who would get custody of my baby, and if she would know how much I loved her after my untimely passing. It was like walking around 24/7, holding hands with the angel of death. How could I possibly enjoy this beautiful new life while constantly worrying and thinking about my own ending? I was terrified of the thought of having her grow up without me. My thoughts were a raging sea of what ifs, on top of making sure to put on my I'm fine, I'm good, I've got this face. I had to plan, and prepare. About 2.5 years ago, I had finally given up my part-time job, and I was able to rest on the weekends. But then things went downhill. I was living in a heightened emotional state 24/7 and constantly frustrated. Having free time or spending the weekend away did not help. I could never recharge. I was so great at hiding my personal struggles. But at home, I was exhausted, easily irritated, and slowly losing interest in being around other people. I just wanted to experience a calm within myself. I craved feeling rested and peaceful. I no longer wanted to break down to my mom and partner because I feared I'd just push them away. The only two people who knew me in the sea of my anguish, the raging waters, I was just trying to keep my head above. Finally, with the courage and push from my mother and partner, I talked to my doctor about what I was experiencing. I had not had any trauma, so my doctor narrowed it down to when I had my daughter, coupled with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, aka PMDD, aka PMS on 1,000. One day, on day 3 of taking medication to increase my serotonin levels, I felt reborn. Some tweaks had to be made to accommodate the PMDD, but that's why it's important for people to work with their provider to find solutions that work for them. The journey to our normal is not one size fits all. It can be a battle at times, and during many of those times you might feel alone, surrounded by people, and still feel alone. I can say that I live in much calmer waters now versus the storming tides I previously tried to keep my head above. I know my triggers, and I'm open about when I'm feeling anxious. I get annoyed sometimes when I hear, "Did you take your medicine?" But some people don't have the village that I do. We need the village not just for the new baby, but for the mother too. I'm thankful for God, family, and grace, and I'm sharing my story for the moms who won't ever have a chance to do so. And I'm hoping that one day I will encourage someone else to take the first step to calming their own storm. Janet Mock once said, "I believe that telling our stories, first to ourselves and then to one another and the world, is a revolutionary act." I am Alonza Pamplin, and this is My Brave. Coming up next to the stage is Melinda Bell.
Welcome to my journal entry. Dear Jesus, who knew depression hurt? Like it really hurts. My body feels weak. The simplest things feel impossible. I stood at the edge of the shower yesterday, willing myself to get in after too many days without water's cleansing reassurance. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I know it doesn't make sense. It seems all I can manage to do is to lay in that stupid bed. The days swirl past me like I'm listening to an audiobook on triple speed. The story is moving so fast and none of it makes sense. This is the first time I've been out of my house all week. I was determined to give you a piece of my mind. Like, why do I have bipolar? Why do I have PTSD and borderline personality disorder? I mean, seriously, wasn't one diagnosis enough? I mean, I'm a counselor. I'm supposed to be helping people with stuff like this. But instead, I sit with patients struggling with thoughts of self-harm or riddled with the angst of a manic episode and say, "Yep, you're right. Me too. Lord, I just want to live my life like everyone else, but I can't because every time I turn around, I'm struggling with symptoms of something. Severe dissociation makes it difficult to connect with my husband and have those vulnerable conversations that hold marriages together. I guess that's why it's been so hard to hold my marriage together. I tend to manipulate, and I make myself the victim. I know it, I work on it, and I still do it. It's like I'm broken. Or what about the fact that I'm a grown woman and I'm still scared of the dark? Some nights I stay awake, and then I wake up in a panic, like I'm a 3-year-old who just opened the door to the most terrifying night of her life. My breathing is shallow, and I can feel my heartbeat pulsing through my tiny body. I can hear the screams and see the shadows of the 2 figures, one of them fighting for their life. And I can hear it, and I can see it. And it feels so real. And it was real. And my story is perforated with moments that taught me that no one was coming to rescue. And I learned to give up on the hope of a redeemer, and that I must protect myself by any means necessary. Antibiotics can't bring relief to this infection of sorrow that is waging against my soul. I'm on the tips of my toes with my head tilted back while the waves of despondence wash over me. I can feel the weight of the water press in on my chest, on my lungs, and they slowly collapse. I'm going under, Lord, and I can't take it anymore. I yearn for a sleep that never ends, to escape this agony. As the storm of gloom suffocates me, I beg for your mercy. You called me for a reason, Lord. I know you did. I remember when we first met, I was so confused, a recently evicted 20-year-old single mom. I'd reached my rock bottom. I begged you to prove that you were real. I was so desperate for an answer, I stopped on a corner at CPCC, not too far from here. In fact, they built this building right on top of the guy who was standing, holding a Bible, emphatically thrusting it in the air. I walked up and simply said, "Is this for real?" At that moment, another man walked up, tall, dark, and handsome. He was also drawn to the sidewalk preacher. He began sharing his testimony, and he led me to Christ. He and I began to spend so much time together, and I fell in love with your word, Lord. I fell in love with him too. We were married 4 months later. It's been a difficult and glorious road, but we're still holding on after 20 years. Lord, I was lonely and lost, and you came when I called. I know you're real. So I cry out to you like I have so many times before, knowing that even when the clouds descend, you are still good. So I rest in your presence, trusting that I'll understand it better by and by. By and by. Father, along we'll know all about it. Father, along we'll understand why. Cheer up, my sisters, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. My name is Melinda Bell, and this is My Brave. Up next to the stage, we have May Cynthia Glover.
My name is May Cynthia Glover, and I was introduced to drugs, crack cocaine, in my early 20s. This began my slow descent into addiction. I won't bore you with my war stories. What I will share is one defining moment of clarity into where my addiction took me. This was written on a napkin, literally on Myrtle Beach at 2:00 a.m., August 11, 1998. The Search, my Lodebar journey, 2 Samuel 9, 1-5. The sun is bright in the southern sky. I look above and want to ask why. Why do I have to suffer this shame? Why I'm always the one to blame. Nothing I do seems right. So here I sit on a moonlit night. The waves are crashing against the shore. I'm searching for that open door. All signs say no room at the end. Oh well, here I go again. My faith begins to dwindle. My hope begins to fade. Nowhere for my head to be laid. Carrying my pillow on my back, hoping to find even a shack. Everything is boarded with nails and wood. I say to myself, that's no good. I know the hunger of pain and fright as I pray to make it through one more night. When the sun comes up, a new day begins. Oh well, here I go again. I look for a light around the bend on this lonely road that has no end. Troubles are many, friends are few. Everything is old, nothing is new. The ground I sleep on is cold and hard. I'm too weary to go another yard. A dog starts barking, it's time to go. Where I'm going, I don't know. It's like the world is upside down, and I'm just one of its many clowns. America is such a great nation. They even charge for donations. The beach is almost empty, the people are gone. So here I sit, all alone. People walk by without a care, turning their heads so they won't see me there. They'll go home to a warm, soft bed. On a soft pillow, they'll rest their heads. A rock is my pillow, my blanket the sand. What a privilege to live in this great land. The mission is open to a chosen few, anyone else but you. Well, the light just shined in my eyes. Oh, well, it's no big surprise. Time to move again. Still no room at the end. Sand in my shoes, moon on my back. Boy, my pants are getting slack. You race with a bum for a nickel or dime. Someone yells out, hey, that's mine. You give it back and walk away. Think to yourself, maybe someday. The smell of food makes your stomach churn. The ache in your heart begins to burn. You walk along the streets at night, trying to stay out of his sight. You look for a hole in the wall, a place to rest, that's all. The ants know the secret how to survive. That's why so many of them are still alive. But I know in the end, I will see my one true friend. The gates of heaven will open wide, and the angels will say, come inside. No more hunger, no more sin, 'cause there's always room at this end. I am now over 20 years clean. Through faith and determination, I have overcome this obstacle. I now have a stable place to live, and Jesus Christ leads my way. My name is Cynthia Glover, and this is My Brave. I welcome to the stage Miss Umayal.
Have you ever felt lost or stuck? I have been. I did everything by the book. I listened to my parents, studied well, got married, had kids. Despite doing all the right things, I felt a deep emptiness inside. To fill that void, I gave and gave, thinking that taking care of everyone's needs would make me feel loved. But instead, abandoning my own needs only left me feeling resentful and bitter. I was physically present, emotionally absent for the most of my life. As a child, I learned to suppress my feelings that led me to become a people pleaser. But in reality, I was losing touch with myself. The more I distanced myself from my emotions, the more I get trapped in the cycle of self-abandonment. Depression had me in its grip, pulling me deeper into a dark abyss, where feelings of unworthiness and fear of failure echoed relentlessly. Each day felt like a mountain too steep to climb, and I was convinced that playing small was the only way to survive. I remember waking up with a heaviness in my chest. The world seemed muted, and my heart was a prisoner of doubt. I wore a mask of strength, but inside I was crumbling. The fear of being seen for who I truly was, flawed and vulnerable, kept me frozen like her for many years. Therapy revealed I had depression and PTSD. While medication was an option, I sought an alternative. When I picked up the paintbrush, for the first time, I felt alive in my body, and something changed inside me. I realized that my paintbrush is my magic wand. Expressing myself through colors felt safe. My canvas was the safe place for me to express all my emotions that I buried for so long. It all began by allowing myself to feel, to really feel the pain, the anger, sadness, and every emotion inside of me. As I expressed myself through colors and patterns, I rediscovered my inner joy. So with each color and brushstroke, I began to peel back the layers of distrust and defenses I had built to hide my true feelings. The chaos in my mind, the freezing fear, and the inability to take action were all expressed through vibrant colors and abstract patterns in my self-portraits. My canvas became a mirror reflecting back to me the pain, the joy, the fear, and the hope. Colors and patterns helped me to rediscover my inner joy. As I let go of perfectionism, I felt more relaxed and calm. Art helped me to bridge the gap between the parts of myself that had been lost. It allowed me to reconnect with my true self. It taught me to stop seeking the love and validation from others and instead nurture the love that was already within me. It brought me into wholeness. As I embraced my feelings, something incredible began to happen. I started to see my worth not in what I did, but in who I was, beautifully imperfect and wonderfully human. I realized who I am becoming in the process, a warrior. Now I share my story to inspire other moms. We all face mountains and valleys, but within us lies the power to transform our lives. When we choose to love ourselves fearlessly, we open the door to healing. We can thrive and create a life that truly reflects who we are. As an immigrant mom, I felt alone in the journey, and I struggled to ask for help. Art helped me to express my emotions and create boundaries. I learned to fill my own cup first and give from a place of overflow rather than emptiness. No matter what role I play, mother, artist, or entrepreneur, I'm here to express my authentic self. In this journey from trauma to transcendence, I've learned that I was never lost. It was all about unraveling and revealing my true self. I realized who I am becoming in the process. I realized that I was the one I was looking for and longing to connect with. I am Umayal Annamalai, and this is My Brave. Now I love to invite Sara Rentmeester on stage.
I have a mental health diagnosis. However, why is it so hard to talk about? Why does the line between acceptance and stigma seem so thin, as if walking on broken glass? Mental health is real and directly connected to our overall health, physical, emotional, and spiritual. And if I may be so bold to say, the driver at the wheel of our well-being. We all have a journey that typically has been years, even decades, in the making, knowing something is off and searching for the answer. For me, my journey spanned 3 decades before a diagnosis and some clarity of the bipolar tornadoes that were creating havoc in my world. My journey began as a teenager. My best friend and future husband, Danny, died in an accidental drowning. He was an expert swimmer. He wasn't to leave, especially after I rejected my first kiss, by telling him to drop dead. He did. My mind could not comprehend, my emotional well-being even less. Many said I was too young to know or love or understand death. I understood. He was gone, and it was real, very real. This led me on the projection of severe depression wrapped in the packaging of anorexia nervosa, also known as Anna. Anna held grips on me for many years in hospitalizations and medications, and. My escape? Get married. Married to a very abusive man. Abusive financial, physical, emotional, and most drastic, the loss of my unborn baby. The abuse had me choosing between life and death. Anna or survival? I chose survival. Anna would need to wait. And wait Anna did, but not the underlying and undiagnosed mental health illness. It was ready to play like a roller coaster, and it wasted no time. The coaster ride was filled with alcohol use, rage, and untamed energy. I was capable of anything. Cognitively, I knew something wasn't right. Emotionally, get out of my way. I'm coming, and there is no stopping me. I sought out the support from counselors, psychologists, and doctors to be diagnosed with stress. Stress? Stress because no one was listening to me. The mood fluctuations gripped stronger. I attempted suicide, which led to hospitalization. Could someone please help me stop the roller coaster ride of highs and literally feeling like I'm dumped off the ride? I wanted to feel normal, if there was such a thing. Finally, a diagnosis, bipolar. I could breathe. The medication trial and intensive outpatient treatment came next. Another ongoing process. One medication mix helped my depression, and I had the energy to do everything. I had a very clean home. Hypomania was in full bloom. Adjust the meds, and the house is a dump. Depression took over and told me to sleep, not eat, isolate. Ugh! I was tearing out my hair. The right combination was finally found. I now needed to convince myself, when medical eyes were not watching me, that staying on my medication was what stabilized my moods. I mean, I got this. I soon learned that off the meds, I do not have it. I have chaos. I now consistently embrace my self-care, medication, journaling, exercise, diet, sleep, and medical care. What a difference. Like Anna, bipolar knows all my secrets, nuances, and struggles. It's a kaleidoscope of colors. It's very intimate with me. It requires, or shall I say, demands, tender, loving self-care. And if left unnoticed, it will make itself known. Bipolar is not shy. I still have my days and moods, as well as support from family and friends, which help me continue my path of recovery and stabilization. It is a constant commitment, a commitment to myself, the most important self in the equation. I am Sara Rentmeester, and this is My Brave. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce to the stage Beth Gatlin.
There was a time in my life when all I wanted was to escape. The darkness of depression and anxiety overwhelmed my heart and my mind. It took me to scary places and I almost gave up. But there was this little tiny ball of light deep in my gut that I didn't understand, but I knew it was there, and I knew it meant I couldn't give up just yet. In my journey through the darkness, I had an experience where that little ball of light got bigger and bigger. and it grew so big that it filled my heart and my soul. I no longer felt this incredibly deep emptiness. The shame of my struggle lifted, and for the first time, I realized I was worthy of peace. I am worthy of self-love. I've come to believe that those of us who suffer in the darkness of mental health and addiction are being given opportunities to find our light within, and we have the ability to show that that light can change our lives and change the world. That might feel lonely, it might feel scary, but if you choose to brave the wilderness, you can shed the past, and your light will shine more, cultivating more beauty in the world around you. One way I shine my light is through music. So I'm going to share a song with you.
Chains of your past. I know it ain't easy, but I know there is hope. I know it ain't easy to just let go, but you're worth the work. No matter what you're holding on, don't let the past predict your future. Don't let shame be your guide. I know it ain't easy, braving the wilderness. I know it ain't easy, holding the chains of your past. I know it ain't easy, but I know there is hope. I know it ain't easy, but just let go. There's time if you make it. Oh, there's a place just for you. Don't let the world that you're with, don't dim your light that's within. I know it ain't easy, but brave that wilderness. I know it ain't easy, but drop the chains of your past. I know it ain't easy, but I know there is hope. I know it ain't easy, but just let go. 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 I'm Beth Gatlin, and this is My Brave.
our cast was able to shine a light tonight on a topic we don't talk about enough. I'd like to take a moment to ask our audience to be brave with us and to please stand if you yourself have personal experience with mental health, substance use, or personal trauma, or if you love someone who has. We are all affected by mental illness, and simply being here today was an incredible start to building upon a movement of people who are willing to be more open and supportive to those struggling. We hope that you'll think of This Is My Brave, and that you will use this experience you have shared with us today to start the conversation and keep it going. This is what it is, or this is what it means to live brave.
I thought there was no way out. Yeah, I used to be scared
You
of
have
the
just
light.
witnessed the Mental Health and Substance Use Show,
And I was
and this is
swallowed by
our
doubt.
Brave.
I'd forgotten what freedom was like. Puzzle pieces on the floor, they don't fit in anymore. I'm changing, I'm changing.